and welcome to the Poorhammer Podcast, episode 207. I'm your host, Brad. This is my co-host, Eric.
How's it going?
And on this week's episode, we're going to do what we dubbed Finding Every Faction's Timmiest Model.
Yeah, we'll see what the actual YouTube title is, because probably not that.
No, that won't work well. Finding Every Faction's Flashiest Model is probably the better name.
It'll probably be something like that. But yeah, this one's a fun episode.
Yeah, so without any further ado, let's get into maximizing fun.
Sounds good.
All right, before we get into this, we should explain what the Timmiest model is. Who is Timmy? Why do we care what Timmy likes?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea, since the idea of Timmy is a Magic the Gathering psychographic, as what I believe it's called. So might be a good idea for us to explain what that is for the Warhammer audience.
So if you haven't seen one of our 3 videos on the subject already, Timmy, or Tammy for the female form, is a psychographic that originates from Mark Rosewater, the head designer for Magic the Gathering. Pretty famous series of articles about it, and it basically tries to summarize how people play games into 3 mindsets. Everyone has all 3, but you have them in varying amounts, and you tend to have one that you are the most like. Timmy, being one of them, cares the most about the emotional enjoyment, the flashiness, the big things happening.
Feeling a particular, experience.
Yes, summarized as looking for experience. Someone who wants that, ooh, damn, that feels good. And they don't care if it happens for them or their opponent so much. It's not about crushing somebody. It's about big things happen.
Which is primarily shown by the big things. So a lot of what we're going to be talking about are big monsters and stuff like that.
Yes, and while Timmy is not all about the largest monster or the largest creature or whatever else, it is often summarized that way to make it very quick to explain. So we are looking for what is, in summary, not just the physically the largest, but the most impressive, the funnest big thing you can do in every faction.
Right. And if you like this episode, don't forget to do the YouTube pleasantries and all that kind of stuff. And don't forget to thank Borrelio, because he's been pushing for us to do this episode for a year now, something like that.
And we finally broke down. But anyway, we've got a big list of factions to go through. Some of them have clear winners. Some of them we're going to have a big debate about what the winner is. We need to talk about rules though. So first up, we're not doing Forge World. We're not doing any resin models here. We're not touching things that are outside of the standard codex. I don't want something that's targeting new players to be a risky purchase if they went out and bought it because they said, oh man, that looks so cool. So there's your reason for why your Telemon's not here.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a thing that we do for most of these. The no Forge World is one of those rules generally, but we also want to stay away from stealing models in other factions, because there are, faction overlaps for certain models, and you kind of have to own your own, as it were. Particularly Chaos is where we're keeping this rule in mind.
Yeah, Chaos and Imperium vehicles are the biggest culprits. But that covers the 2 main rules here. Other than that, we are just looking for big, cool things. So let's get all of the obvious winners out of the way first, and then we'll start debating the other factions. First up, Tyranids. They've got a lot of cool monsters. No one's doubting the depth of the cool monsters we can do. But the Norn Emissary / Assimilator is the slam dunk. That kit that dual builds either one. It's huge. It's impressive. In the Tyranid range, there is nothing else. That is it.
I mean, there are other ones that, like you said, they have other monsters and that kind of stuff. It's just the Norn Assimilator or Emissary is fully updated, new, big, and awesome. Just hands above everything else in Tyranids. It's so cool.
It's basically the flagship of the Tyranids refresh.
Yeah, that actually goes about right.
Size-wise alone, the Emissary's brain is larger than most other models in the faction.
Yeah, and I mean, it also, it does look really cool, which part of that is because, it's new and updated and all that. It is fancy because of that. I don't think we want to get too much into rules, especially because, new edition is coming out.
No, the way I want to handle rules is basically, historically, does it match the model?
Right. From, a high level of, does it feel mostly right thematically when you look at the model? Is it flashy? Is it, doing its thing?
Or has it been disappointing for most of its existence, the Helldrake?
We'll get there. We'll get there. But I mean, the Norn Emissary and Assimilator have some pretty scary profiles.
Yeah. Let's move on. Votann. Look, you're not very large. I'm sorry, guys. Stature is not in your favor. You do have the Hekaton Land Fortress, though, which is in a size class all its own. It is, like, clearly the pick in this range.
It's pretty big. And I mean, I absolutely love this model. It's so cool.
It's very fun to even paint, honestly.
Yeah, they did such a good job. And it is like, it's a pretty big model. For the rest of Votann, it also, like, it shows being very big. And I mean, it's got some cool guns as well.
Especially if we're doing, like, launch 9th edition Hekaton Land Fortress, the whoopsie.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's perfectly fine.
Nothing was wrong with Votann at the end of 9th edition.
No.
But let's move into the one that everybody thinks of immediately for the absolute Timmiest thing you can do. Imperial Guard, Astra Militarum, present the Baneblade and all of its variants.
Yeah, I mean, even just like comparing it to the Hekaton Land Fortress, which is a pretty big model, got a bunch of guns. The Baneblade is just another class. Like, this thing is ridiculous in every way, including the awesome ways.
The Baneblade's box is larger than the majority of combo boxes.
Oh yeah, by like a good amount.
Like, there are smaller battle forces than this thing.
It is awesome. Very cool model. It's got a lot of different options. It's got a lot of guns.
A lot of guns.
It definitely fits the like big flashy experience moment.
Yeah, and we could argue like which is the best of the Baneblades.
Sure.
But like the fact that you can have that argument is why the Baneblade is the winner here.
Yeah.
The minor variants of like which build did you do of this massive impressive thing is the argument, not the rest of the range, which has things like a tactical nuke with the Death Strike, just not even worth mentioning because the Baneblade is here.
There are other cool models, definitely, that would be like, yeah, that's very flashy, but the Baneblade is just amazing. And yeah, I mean, it's tough to get the Baneblade on the board when you're actually playing just because it is so big, but it has a lot of guns, so you're able to shoot a bunch, which, hey, it's doing that job at the very least.
And while we're going through Timmiest models, we're not going to be able to pass up most of the Primarchs, so some of the slam dunks are themselves Primarchs. Emperor's Children is very clearly Fulgrim. There's nothing else like him in the 5 models you have access to.
I was gonna say, there's some factions that you only have so many options to choose, but Fulgrim is a good one.
He is. Just rules-wise, he's a little disappointing on launch, but that's kind of part of Demon Primarchs at this point.
It is, and that is definitely one of the downsides to like, you do want it to be a flashy experience in gameplay as well, if possible.
It's not that it's not flashy. It's just not good enough to be meta. It could have been pushed a lot further.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's particularly flashy. Its abilities are like, whatever. For what this awesome looking model with the, giant wings and snakeness, and like, this is so cool as a model, and the rules are like pretty generic.
We'll see as editions move on because, again, he's very new. So it's like, it's one slip up, but it's all he's got.
Yeah. The expectation, hopefully, is that newer editions, newer codex, we get some interesting stuff to really show off. But, I mean, the model is awesome. So, yeah, I think it's a pretty slam dunk for Emperor's Children there. Similarly, Death Guard.
Yeah, it's Mortarion, guys. Have you seen him? He is the coolest of the Demon Primarchs from a modeling standpoint, I think.
I had originally was like, maybe Plague Burst Crawler, because it is a cool tank. And then I put it in the show notes next to Mortarion. I was like, no. Nope, it's not even close.
No, the Stinky Scythe Boy is an amazing model. Even if you don't like the aesthetic of Nurgle stuff, you have to appreciate how cool he is.
Yeah, there's so much going on with the model. The aura is definitely noticeable.
It's called aura, bruh.
Yeah.
He's also had pretty good rules for like most of his run now. He has been a terror on board, at least being very difficult to kill and being killy enough. It's been pretty pretty good on all aspects. If we were like rating these, which I guess if you want us to come back to this subject at a later date and like actually rank these and like try to figure out who has the flashiest models like of everybody in 40K, feel free to ask for it. We'll find a way to do it at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, Mortarion just like, it's so good. And I think because Death Guard in general has just a bunch of cool models that have kind of figured itself out, that like Mortarion just slots in. It's not quite as overwhelmingly noticeable from the rules and like gameplay side. It's not like, oh, you have to start with Mortarion because it's so cool no matter what. It's like, yeah, I want to play Mortarion because it's so cool and it'll actually work. That's great.
And to round off the factions with clear winners in them, we have Imperial Knights. Notably, not Chaos Knights, just Imperial Knights.
I mean, all the Imperial Knights are basically the same.
Yes, but two of them are bigger, and that is the Knight Castellan / Valiant, and it's that kid. I think I want to give it to the Valiant because of the harpoon, like if you have to pick one of the two, but honestly, it doesn't matter. They're both sick.
They are really cool.
The Castellan's got the bigger guns, the Valiant's got the harpoon. They're awesome.
But there are only so many options in Knights, and like, you're not picking the small Knights. So, clear winner being the biggest one, essentially.
But why did I not just pick the Tyrant when we got to Chaos Knights?
I mean, that's a good question. I guess we can lead into the factions that we have to actually debate about.
All right, but I'm going to sandbag Chaos Knights.
Of course. Okay. I mean, that was a great like segue. We were ready to go into it. It was like, woo, but let's start with Space Marines.
No, screw that. Let's do Chaos Knights.
I sold him on it. Reverse psychology.
All right. So Chaos Knights obviously has the Knight Tyrant, which is the Castellan / Valiant, but Chaos.
I mean, it is. It just has some spikes on it, essentially.
But when it comes down to it, that's the core of my issue here. Chaos Knights. And when I think of like the Chaos Knightiest Chaos Knight thing, I want something with a little more flair to it. And Chaos Knights gets a lot of flavor and coolness and crazy stuff from the more Chaos Knight focused kits. Things like the Knight Rampager and the Knight Abominant start looking comparable to the Knight Tyrant because they're chaosier.
Yes, they are. I mean, the Abominant does a pretty good job of showing it off with the like tentacle whip arms.
Yeah, I think the Abominant is my actual frontrunner. I think it actually beats the Tyrant for me personally. We can debate all of the options here, but to me, like the fact that we did a whole episode in 9th edition about some funny builds with it, like 28 stab wounds joke.
Yeah.
But the Abominant just, it's got the tail, the arm that is completely replaced by whips. The Volkite cannon shoots a lot. It's had cool rules depending on which iteration we're looking at. Don't look right now. But like even the vultures on top, everything about it is just the coolest thing. And I think it's just that like extra Chaos Knight flashiness that makes you have more story time appeal than the Knight Tyrant, even though the Knight Tyrant is bigger and has bigger guns.
I feel like it is one of those, the Knight Tyrant is bigger.
But Timmy is about experience.
Yeah.
Not just what is the largest number.
Because like if you just wanted the experience of the biggest thing, then you would play the Imperial Knight version of it. But you want something different, that unique experience that's Chaos Knights. I think, yeah, the Abominant just does it better.
Again, it's why I think this had real debate to it. I'm not discounting like the Knight Rampager. You could argue the Unga Bunga screaming up the board, slashing stuff to ribbons is like, I mean, that's Chaos Knights right there. And I get these arguments for other Chaos Knights. For me, it's the Abominant, but this is like why there is debate.
Yeah, I mean, the Knight Rampager does have some like fun play experience going on with just like how it unga bungas, but I feel like it's probably the Abominant. Either way, there's obvious choices to decide. It isn't Imperial Knights, so just take the biggest one. So do we want to move into Space Marines now then?
No, let's talk about somebody else.
All right, we did bring up the rule of no Forge World, so let's hit Custodes because that's like the concern here, right? Of like, what do you mean no Forge World? Custodes is only Forge World.
I have bad news, Custodes. Let's have a sit down before the pitchforks strike. Yes, Custodes could have much better options if we had Forge World in this list. Very cool ones that I like. But again, with this type of episode, I do not want some new person accidentally blowing over $100 points on something that is functionally useless in 3 months.
Potentially.
Potentially. Absolutely going to happen. You don't live in a good timeline.
Yeah, because it is one of those, like, these are exciting models, especially if you're looking for like that flashy, exciting experience. Yeah, we might be able to sell you on getting some of these new models. So it's a bit risky for us to be like, yeah, let's try and sell you on one that you probably can't play in the game anymore. It won't have like real rules. It sucks, but like, I mean, if everybody wants us to do like an actual tier list and we go through and like figure this out, and Custodes managed to get those models in plastic or confirmed that like, yes, they're staying, they're gonna have rules for the entire edition.
Some of them got plastic, but to me, that's a higher risk. And if you're wondering why, which of my Leviathan dreads would you like to write an apology letter to?
Yeah, so like if we end up doing the tier list revisit and that is still like a possibility kind of thing, we'll keep it in mind, because what we have here now with the current rules is well, Trajan Valoris.
And 2 models they inherit from Space Marines.
Yeah.
Which I said we couldn't have, but I'll at least mention them so Custodes has some options. You've got the Contemptor Dreadnought, and you've got a Land Raider painted gold.
I feel like the Contemptor Dread is like, okay, because Custodes has like a Dreadnought theme. Most of them are Forge World and all that, but like, okay, we can just talk about Dreadnoughts.
Sure.
The Land Raiders, fucking get out of here. You're not real.
The Land Raider is likely the correct option for Custodes when we're talking only about the like plastic in the Codex range.
But like, it's just sad, and like, it's not Custodes in any way other than you painted it gold.
Yeah. The Contemptor isn't much better, but it's kind of a stand-in for all the dreads we can't pick because they're Forge World still, and we don't trust the new plastic Horus Heresy kits to actually get 40k rules in a real codex.
And like, I do like the Contemptor Dreadnought. It's pretty neat, but also
it's like my least favorite of the old dreads. It's kind of dumb looking. The Custodes exclusive ones, good lord, they're so cool. But the generic one, meh.
I think it's okay. But Trajan Valoris is a mod. I mean, he's got a really cool axe.
He does. And if you put his helmet on, you can call him Kitten.
Yeah.
Look, it's the Contemptor Dread. It's probably technically the Land Raider, but it just feels very sad to give Custodes the Land Raider in this. We'll say it's the Contemptor Dread, knowing it's a stand-in for the Telemon and the Horus Heresy era dreads. And we'll do those if we ever come back to this subject after we're sure they'll exist in 11th edition.
Yeah, I mean, like, the only other option is, like, maybe we pick just, like, the Alaris Custodians or whatever. Like, oh, these are the elite versions of it, but whatever.
Yeah, it's awkward because when you think about it, Custodes as a faction feels like a slam dunk for Timmy. Everything is impressive. That's their gimmick.
But at the same time, when everything's impressive, nothing's that unique, exciting experience.
When everything has the 10th edition Custodes Codex, nothing is impressive.
That too, yeah.
All right, we've done the other 2. Let's do a Xeno.
Sure. Let's just start with Aeldari then.
Okay.
Because, I mean, they've got a couple solid options. I mean, the obvious Wraith Knight.
Yeah. I have a favorite in this batch, but there are other options. So the Wraith Knight, my favorite of the batch, the one I am absolutely rooting for, but I will also understand people who think Avatar of Cain is the pick, and even like the Yakarn, if we want to expand out to Ynnari.
Yeah, I kind of want to expand to Ynnari in this, just because, like, where else are we going to put it? And the Incarn is cool. This is a very exciting model.
Yeah, everything in me still screams Wraith Knight. I get that the Avatar of Cain, memes lore-wise aside about him losing to everybody, is supposed to be a super impressive, like, God Shard type thing, but have you seen a Wraith Knight? Because, like, my brother owns a Wraith Knight, and I don't even care about Craft World Eldar, but goddamn, I would play with Wraith Knights.
I do think the Wraith Knight is, like, the front runner, just because it is big. It's a knight, but it's like, oh, this is the lithe elven knight compared to Imperial or Chaos Knights kind of thing. And it does a great job of doing that.
It's also ridiculously big.
It is quite big.
It's very large. You always think that it's going to be like smaller than a Questoris because it's skinny. The things are huge.
It's because it's lithe and skinny that you're like, you don't actually understand how big it is. Because like Imperial Knights are kind of bulky. I mean, the Wraith Knight is cool in fun like rules as well. It's generally not good unless there were some problems. But like it's got some big guns. That's fun. It's tough though because like Avatar of Cain and Yinkarn have had cool rules as well. Like they've been able to do unique, exciting things.
Anyone who's played against the Yinkarn knows that.
Yeah.
Teleports behind you, teleports behind you, teleports behind you, teleports behind you.
And like that's part of the unique, fun, flashy experiences is the gameplay part. And like both of those models are pretty large. So it's tough. Like I feel like the Wraith Knight is like the obvious choice, but the other two are not far enough behind that it's slam dunk.
Yeah, I still am giving it to the Wraith Knight though.
All right.
Even just thinking of rules recently. The other two have been good. The Wraith Knight was the terror of 10th. It was the changer of half of the core rules at the start of the edition.
True, but it's also had a decent amount of time of being meme tier.
It's true. They did punish it severely for being played.
I'm with you though. I think we can go with the Wraith Knight. So do you want to jump back to Imperium?
Sure. Who do you want in Imperium?
Let's go to...
Grey Knight sounds great.
Okay. Grey Knights.
Let's rip this band-aid off. Hey, how do you feel about the Land Raider, but we paint it silver?
No. I mean, yes, but no, we're not doing that. That's a Space Marine vehicle. So I think we kind of ignore the Land Raider. Like as much as maybe it's a front runner, I just no.
Yeah, if we can ignore the Land Raider, we should.
So we have a couple options. I would like to propose the Paladins, even though I know it's generally going to do pretty bad, but I like the Paladins and I think they are flashy and cool.
It's a fair shout. They were not on my list of ones that I thought was like questionable. The front runner is the Nemesis Dread Knight still, like clearly.
I think so as well.
But because Grey Knights is the Psyker Magic Men army, I kind of wanted to give Crow with his cool demon sword and the fact that like him leading Purifiers sticks with me, like from a gameplay perspective of like a big experience.
I think because Crow has the new model and the new model has such a...
He's aura farming. Let's be clear about this. The man is absolutely just trying his heart out right now to look cool as shit. And it's working.
And it's working pretty well. I think like one of the problems is Crow on his own is solid and as an option, like he does a good job of aura farming and all that. But like once you get to the gameplay part, he has to be with a Purifier squad. At which point, yes, it is an absolutely fun, unique experience in gameplay of having him, the Purifiers, and making people just disappear with Purifying Flame. Super fun. But then it's like, that's 2 units, not 1.
That's a fair knock against, and it's why the Dread Knight probably still wins. But I did want to give that option there.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's a very Grey Knight feeling thing. And also, like, as the guy who plays against that, that is an experience where, like, my inner Timmy goes, ooh, that's awesome when Eric does that. That's fun.
But I do think the Nemesis Dread Knight is, like, it's kind of the best option and pick. And if it wasn't for the fact that a lot of lists, when I'm trying to win, have just as many fucking Nemesis Dread Knights as possible, then I think it would be a more unique experience.
Yeah, it's the issue when Timmy and Spike meet up.
Yeah, but they are cool. I like the baby carrier aesthetic in a weird like 40K idea.
I hate it, but there's also really cool 3D prints where it is inside and it looks cool as hell. So like there's lots of ways to do the Dread Knight. I think it is the winner, but I did want to shout out the other options here. And like even the Paladins, I get it.
Yeah, so not quite as embarrassing.
Paladin Death Stars in like 9th edition and stuff, and even 8th and all that. Very cool unit. Also like it's not a single model, it's a big fat unit, but like I get that too.
Yeah, there's an aspect of putting over a quarter of your entire 2K point list into one unit because you have a leader.
These 10 dudes right here.
Yeah, that's flashy and fun, but it doesn't really fit the theme of the episode quite as well.
No, I think it has to be the Dread Knight.
So, Thousand Suns maybe next?
Sure. This is, again, we talked about the Demon Primarchs at the beginning. 2 of them were slam dunks, but where are the other 2? Why weren't they slam dunks? Well, it's because they have cool friends.
Yeah.
Mortarion doesn't have any friends. Magnus, he doesn't have friends, but he has a pet dog.
Yeah, so we've got Magnus and Meal Vortex Beast as our like, these are the big options. And Magnus has some obvious front runner aesthetics, but like the dog's cute.
If the Mutalith Vortex Beast wasn't so damn cool at all times and just the biggest zinchiest thing, even when its rules suck ass, which was like all of 9th edition.
I think that's my real blow against the Meal Vortex Beast.
I can't even say that because Magnus sucked all of 9th edition. So it's like, yeah, both of them. But I think Magnus, from a gameplay perspective, is always splashier.
Yeah.
And he is your big demon Primarch. I think he still wins, but it's like, it is much closer than comparing Morty to like a random mortar tank or Fulgrim to like
Anything.
a noise marine question mark.
Yeah. Death Guard has a more fleshed out unit roster, so like they have something kind of maybe sort of that you could be like, yeah, but it's not on the same tier. Empress Children doesn't. Thousand Sons, the MVB is not good enough, but
No, the real answer for Thousand Sons is you play Magnus and his dogs. Magnus walks the dogs. But yeah, Magnus is the pick for me, but like I want to give a shout out to the MVB and it's just really fun. And you could even argue in Thousand Sons in certain editions, the answer is a custom built character.
sure.
The coolest, splashiest thing you can do is a combo in list building. Doing a big boom character, a crazy build of some type, that could be the answer at certain points for Thousand Sons. Currently, it's Magnus.
Yeah, partially because the model is really cool and Demon Primarch and all of that, but like the rules also are like this is how you get to do even more fun Zinchian things in the Codex.
You know what's second place for Fulgrim and possibly could win if we were just going off gameplay? Demon Prince.
Sure, okay, yeah.
The Demon Prince is really good.
Yeah.
All right, should we get the last of the really disappointing Imperiums out of the way? Just rip the band-aid off, be done with it.
Sure.
Imperial Agents. You are a bunch of small art pieces and book characters and random trash. There's not much we can pick here. We've got two options for you. The Vindicare Assassin, because he's basically representing the assassins here. He's the like splashy cool one with the gigantic gun.
Yeah, but really it's the assassins. We'll say the Vindicare, but whatever.
Yeah, he's representing assassins. And the other one is like the Corvus Blackstar because it's actually a sizable vehicle. And Deathwatch kind of got merged with Imperial Agents for a while there, and now they're like duplicated in two places and it's a little funky.
Yeah, it shouldn't be involved because it's like not the main focus of the Codex. Like you're kind of borrowing, but at the same time, Deathwatch is in a weird pseudo position in different states. So
I think it goes to the Vindicare still and the Assassins in general. They are very splashy. They're the thing that people want to soup when they're an Imperium player and complaining about the Imperial Agents Codex and the fact that they have to go buy it for rules. They're not doing it because they want to play like Navy Breachers. They're doing it because they want to play a cool assassin.
yeah, and some of the assassins do have very fun rules. Having Lone Op is a good start. And then, yeah, you've got just like different options for the assassins doing cool things. It is a little weird because they are just like kind of a small model, but I do think they're kind of the exciting part for Imperial Agents, especially because they are fun like paint pieces that you can go really in depth on. And that like is part of Imperial Agents. So it's a bit weak, but I think it works out for what the faction is. All right, we got the like weak Imperium factions out of the way now, I think. Let's take a look at one of the weaker Xenos factions. How about Genestealer Cults?
Thought you were going to make me do Drukhari, but all right, let's do Genestealer Cults.
We've got the Goliath Rock Grinder.
And the Goliath Rock Grinder probably could have been a slam dunk, but I wanted to have this talk.
It's a pretty weak slam dunk.
It's a weak slam dunk, and that's why we're here in the debate section talking.
Okay.
So, Genestealers is one of the factions that I think is showing off the best factions that are not very Timmy oriented.
Yeah.
Appeals much more to Johnny and Spike. We've talked about that in psychographic episodes. Genestealers is not about doing big flashy things, it's about doing clever things. It's more about showing off in a different way.
Yeah, it's kind of got more of like a combo oriented style feel.
It's proving your clever self-expression, the other aspects, the Spike, the Johnny, not Timmy. So we've got slim pickings here. So like Goliath Rock Grinder, it's the biggest thing. It's got a big gun. It's got a big chewy face on it. Very cool looking, but it's like the only thing here. Ignoring the truck for a second, the other options are like the Patriarch, because it's your biggest monster that is like your big psyker with a huge brain.
Yeah.
And your Abominant, which is basically like a Terminator, but he's fleshy. Like, he's very vanilla in most other factions, but he's like your biggest dude.
Yeah, the Abominant is probably the best third place that Genestealer Cults can do, and it's terrible.
That's the thing is, like, when you go down the Genestealer Cults Timmy list and, like, third place is, like, guy the size of a Terminator, okay, we're not a Timmy faction.
No.
Custodes had this issue, but Custodes had this issue because we banned all of their fancy models for monetary purposes we'll talk about in future episodes again.
Yeah, but Genestealer Cults just doesn't have those options. Like, the Patriarch isn't the worst.
It's not awful, but it's like, this wouldn't normally be in the top 3, but it's all right.
I mean, it's got some neat rules, kind of, in how it's like, it's kind of doing the assassin type stuff going on there.
It's like the Demon Prince, or like, you know, when I talk about custom characters in Thousand Suns, the like, it might not be a typical win, but it might be the win because of your faction.
Yeah, but like, the Rock Grinder is... I don't know, man. It's weak. It's pretty weak, but it's still tankish.
It gets into not every faction is equal when it comes to how they appeal to different groups.
No.
If we're going to have any serious conversation in this episode that's not just staring at cool stuff, that's part of it, is like learning what you are and which factions appeal to you.
Right. And like we said, like way at the beginning, nobody's like really all just one of those psychographic. Like you have parts of the different ones, but like some factions are more oriented towards part of the you know, the Timmy aspect. Like Necrons, they've got a couple Timmy options.
All right, Necrons. This is the opposite end for sure. This is the only faction where I ended up with 5 and I wanted all 5 to win.
And like there's other options as well.
I had gotten a top 10 in Necrons.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We got Timmy covered if you've got cash.
Oh, that's true. But I mean, they are generally large, impressive models
that have cool rules and do interesting stuff. Like, they're not just big.
Yeah.
So getting into it, we've got the Void Dragon. We've got the Nightbringer, not Banana Man.
To be fair, any of the Catan have like the rules being unique experiences going on, and like they're large, flashy stuff. But like the Voidbringer's new model, like, yeah, there's a difference between the new Catans and the old busted ones.
Eric made a new invention right there. Borrelio, enjoy editing the Voidbringer.
Is that what I said?
Yep. That's a sick looking model. Damn. Borrelio in Photoshop for like 3 hours inventing the new.
I'm looking forward to it. Hey man, when the new Catan Shard Voidbringer comes out, I called it.
And then we've got Silent King, our faction leader, who is an extremely large whole ensemble cast type deal, is like in a pile of options. You know, we're eating good here.
Yeah.
And then we've got our 2 largest models, which are the Monolith and the Tesseract Vault. And honestly, just speaking overall, I think even over the Catans, who I love, I think it's the Tesseract Vault. It's so dumb. We haven't gotten to Orks yet, but you know we're going to talk about the Stompa.
It has to be brought up, yes.
It's so dumb to play, like, historically, but you can never argue it's boring. It always does weird stuff and big stuff and is big and overpriced.
And is big and overpriced. But like you get the Catan Shard in the middle there. Should rip them out.
Rip him out, put him on a base, have him be better.
Yeah.
Costs a third of the points.
It's tough because, like, I do agree the Tesseract Vault is pretty exciting. The Monolith, I like. It is imposing.
No, you don't. Eric hates the Monolith. I just want to remind everybody he despises this model.
In general, yeah. But, like, for a Timmy review, this terrain piece is exciting.
Yes, trying to be objective about it as a Timmy.
Yeah.
I do think, to give you some points here, the Monolith is in 5th place out of these 5. I still think it's super high up there. Like, it's still impressive. It's just out of these 5, it is the least cool.
And it is kind of just like the least cool out of them, but it is really quite interesting. The Silent King always shocks me on how big that model is.
I think, to me, the reason the Silent King ranks lower is because he has, for his existence, basically always been a big buff guy.
Yeah.
I don't mean like he hulks out. I mean like he buffs things around him.
He himself hasn't been the most exciting.
Yeah, like he usually has some good shots or whatever, but like he's a buff wagon through and through.
Yeah.
He's basically the bard. The amount of times people mention the menhirs as giant speakers for his soundstage, he's the party bard. And I think that loses some Timmy points.
It kind of does.
It's still very cool.
It is pretty cool. It's the most imposing bard you'll ever see.
Yeah. But at the same time, if I put him next to Void Dragon and Nightbringer,
Yeah.
and tell you to point at your favorite as a Timmy, like using your Timmy brain, point at your favorite, very few people are pointing at him.
I am in absolute agreement, especially because like from rules aspect, the Catan have always done like the entire like point of Catan are to break the rules in a weird way.
They are always splashy.
Yeah.
Like even when they're bad, like it's always 50-50. Are they unplayably god awful or are they breaking something right now? Currently breaking something, but they bounce between these two states. And even when they're god awful, everybody wants to play for Catan.
I mean,
You're like, I know this is terrible, but like, I don't care.
but it'll be an experience. That is kind of why, as much as I agree with you, the Tesseract Vault is pretty high. I feel like the Void Dragon I would choose the Void Dragon.
That's fair. I think with the new Nightbringer, it might be the Nightbringer, but I love the Void Dragon.
The new Nightbringer is definitely awesome. The Void Dragon is just cooler to me. From an aesthetic point, there's a bias.
Out of all the ones we've covered so far, I know we're kind of like switching up our difficulty. We did a lot of the easy ones first.
Yeah.
God, this one's hard. I think I'm still rooting for the Vault, but I respect that this is not going to be unanimous.
Yeah.
This is definitely one where there's a lot of good options. Like, again, I started this as a top 10 with Necrons.
Oh, yeah.
Your favorite might still be out of this top 5.
Honestly, this is one of those interesting decisions that I would love to hear what like the listeners actually are saying, because I think there's a lot of different options that we haven't even brought up.
Yeah, I had the Doomstalker for Canoptic fans as like, the thing is big.
Oh, yeah. And it's cool.
Like, I've got 3 of those things and they're a pain in the ass. I'm gonna stick Tesseract Vault is my pick. Which one is yours? Void Dragon?
I'm still on Void Dragon, though I think we're on a similar but inverse of like understanding the other pick kind of thing.
I think if I was going to pick one of the two, I think while I love Void Dragon, just from like a design of a model standpoint, like it's probably my favorite Necron model. I think, man, that's a deep rabbit hole. I still think Timmiest of the Catan, I'm going with the Nightbringer if I have to pick one.
Oh, okay.
I think my runner-up is actually the Nightbringer. Like, my runner-up still isn't your pick, but I get your pick. Just him throwing the javelin is super cool.
They're all cool, man.
There's so many good options because of the Catan existing in the Necron sphere. Like, it's so Timmy.
It is so like peak Timmy aesthetic and like everything about how they play and how they look, and like Necrons just nails it. Amazing job. Yeah, I'm good. We can go with Tesseract Vault, whatever. They're all good. But let's move on.
We've been making fun of all the Imperium picks. Let's do something where we have really good picks in the Imperium. We'll do a surprise though. You think it's gonna be Space Marines or maybe Sisters. Let's do AdMech.
All right. That's kind of where I was hoping you were going to go with this.
AdMech has really good options in this.
I mean, I agree.
In my head, I was like, AdMech is not a Timmy faction, so this is going to be slim pickings.
It isn't necessarily a Timmy faction from like an idea. That's true.
But they have a lot of like solid Timmy pleasers.
And I think there's an amount of like, these work so well in AdMech. This is the Timmy part of AdMech that does so well that it might just, reach beyond AdMech to be like, ooh, I want to play AdMech now because of these.
Yeah, so rapid firing off. We have the Onager Doomcrawler, which again is the spider tank, the crab tank. We've got Belisarius Call himself, really decent Timmy model, honestly. The Castellan robots, like, clearly, especially Punch Boys. Although, 9th edition Wrath of Mars Triple Gun Boys, also obnoxious. And then the Archaeocopters even. Solid options throughout. None of them 10 out of 10, but all of them very respectable picks.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Like, Belisarius Call is a pretty big model. Like, it's not massive, but...
He's not huge, but he's a lot larger than, like, TJ.
Yeah, and has unique styling rules.
Yes, he feels very Primarch-esque. The Supreme Commanders, obviously, is like the more general, what they all are, your faction leader. And they tend to be the bigger, splashier things, and he does a pretty good job. He's more like with Silent King, but less Timmy. He is more the buff guy because again, he's like your scientist leading his faction of tech people. So like he's very buffing oriented. He can slap though. I think Call is the weakest of this bunch still, but he's at least a respectable possible pick.
I'm with you on that. Call, you're not really in AdMech to be a Timmy and like looking for it, but like everybody has that little bit and like Call satisfies it kind of thing. But the robots on the other hand, these are cool, man.
The robots are my coin flip, where it's, I think for most people, it's slam dunk robots.
I think so.
But I'm a huge fan of the Dune Crawler. An unhealthy love for this stupid tank. Our buddy owns 3 of them, and I have played 3 of them while playing AdMech, and I love doing it. They are on very large bases and are very annoying to move around, even with their rules to help them.
Yeah.
I love this stupid tank. I just love the design of it so much. It makes me so happy. It's got so many gun options, but like not all at once, but like different loadouts you can do with it. It's very cool. I think the correct answer is probably the robots above everything else. I do think it's the most correct, but like
the Dune Crawler is cool and awesome and all that stuff, but I like a lot of what you brought up doesn't feel peak Timmy flashy type stuff. It's like trying to add like complexity onto the experience, which is fine, but it's not like
it's that it's a more unique and cool tank.
Yeah.
It's the like bouncing between the expression of Johnny and the experience of Timmy. It's that overlap. So I think, yeah, Castle and Robots probably edge it out, and I think both of them are still higher than the Archaeocopters. Though, just from a design standpoint, they're very cool.
They are pretty cool.
And at certain points, they have been absolute menaces.
Yeah. At other times, they've been staying on the shelf.
10th edition airplane.
Yeah, it's tough because, like, I feel like planes have kind of a...
Planes get points off for rules. Let's be clear.
And part of that's just because GW doesn't understand aircraft ever, like, for a long time.
Yeah, they're very difficult to fit into 40K gameplay-wise and not have them either be an annoyance or trash.
Yeah, that's just a tough sell to like all together be like, yeah, they're kind of doing what you expect. So I feel like it's the robots. The Castellan robots are just like, I don't know, I think they're peak aesthetically doing what you want, especially for AdMech. There have been points where the rules are not good, but
other than 10th edition AdMech Codex where nothing was good,
yeah,
they've always been impressive.
Yeah, they've been pretty impressive.
They've been pointed wrong before, but like they've always been impressive outside of the one where everything in AdMech was unimpressive.
Though at sometimes you had to commit more focus to making them good kind of thing.
They're in a decent spot now though. And I mean, if we're looking at 8th and 9th, Wrath of Mars, Burr, Sixes Reflect, all the stupid stuff.
Yeah. So I think that they're the choice. And I think it's a pretty strong showing too.
All right. I think it's time for us to finally discuss the new Defiler model that like 1,000 people have asked me to discuss now.
Chaos Space Marines. You've got a couple options.
You do. It was not a slam dunk. So we've got the new Defiler. It's big. It's a billion times better than the old Defiler.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's my favorite CSM model though. Partially just because demon engines are so damn cool in general.
Yeah. I do really like this new Defiler though. I haven't seen it in person, obviously. So like, you know, there's some amount of like looking at photos, but it's really cool.
I definitely need to build it and see it in front of me, like size wise. I understand how big it is. I know that's the full pie plate. Like I get how big it is, but I need to see it.
Yeah.
I need to hold it in my hands like a fucking baby and be like, good Lord, this thing is huge. Also, it probably shits the bed when you actually read the rules, just like babies shit themselves.
Possibly, yeah. But I have an expectation that this is going to be a rather imposing model. Very cool. I love it aesthetically. I think, I don't know, I'd have to really go through again in my mind to say if it's my like favorite, but it's at least up there.
It's in the top 10, but I really love most of the demon engines. So like it's got hard competition for me still. But yeah, it can have its title as like ugliest model ever revoked finally. Gone is that meme. It manages to leave behind its past tragedies.
Yeah.
Anyway, so moving on from the Defiler, we have other options though. And like we removed some of them because I think there were still some more fringe options, but we still have at least 2 more good options. One, the Helldrake. What I believe is probably still my favorite model in CSM, or damn close.
It's awesome. There's just something about the Helldrake, man. That's just...
It's a large mech dragon.
Yeah.
It always looks cool on the shelf. Don't put it on a table, but it always looks cool on the shelf.
It does look really cool. And it's like, it looks so cool that it drags your attention to it. I don't know. It's very awesome. But the real problem with the Helldrake when we're, you know, trying to actually decide here here is rules wise. It does not give, well, I guess maybe it does give you a unique experience in the play because it literally just sits there and looks pretty on the side of the board.
And then for another one here, we've got the Forge Fiend and Mauler Fiend. I'm a fan of the Mauler Fiend. I love my puppy dogs.
Yeah.
Princess Doesn't Bite. I love this model too. The Mauler Fiend specifically is again like top 3 models in CSM for me.
I mean, it is very cool.
I think the Defiler outclasses the Mauler Fiend on Timminess even without knowing the new rules for it.
I think so.
Even with the old rules, it's bigger and splashier. It's just that it's bad and it was ugly.
Yeah. And like, honestly, the Fiends don't have the most interesting experiences from play pattern. They're cool. They're fun. You get to do the thing.
They're more model side than rule side, and model wise, they're outclassed now.
I think so, yeah.
Not outclassed in cuteness, though. Puppy dog's still cuter. But giant enemy crabs get a lot of points, man.
So then, like, Helldrake versus Defiler. And I think the Helldrake's cooler from, like, on the shelf. That's the cooler Timmy model.
But it's not going to beat the Defiler from an actual, like, Timmy experience and play. The Defiler is going to be the winner.
They would have to really, really screw up.
They make it worse than it is now.
Yeah. And, like, noticeably worse. So I don't see that happening. And, yeah, I think the Defiler gets it.
All right, let's do Drukhari. As we talked about with Genestealer Cults, same thing here with Drukhari.
It's not really the faction for this idea.
It appeals much more to Spike and Johnny. A lot to Spike. Not just because of the spikes.
I mean, we've got the boats.
Yeah, so the Ravager is the boat of choice here. It's the one with the guns. And then we've got the planes, the Void Raven Bomber or the Razor Wing Jet Fighter. I think the Void Raven Bomber is more Timmy, just out of the two, but again, whatever. And then we've got, for third place here, we've got the Talos or Kronos. I mean, technically we don't know it's third place, but Eric and I talked before the show, and this is clear third place.
But it was like, we've got the boats and we've got the plane, and then apparently Talos is on here.
Yeah. This again shows off, like we were talking about in Genestealer Cults, of like how far we fell off a cliff here in Timminess.
Yeah, it's not good.
The Talos has had times before where it's been impressive, not physically speaking, but from like a gameplay standpoint.
That's true. And like, it doesn't look too small compared to Drukhari in general.
Yeah, it's a little sad when you're comparing it to the new Defiler on a 160 millimeter base.
Yeah, it's not the flashiest. That's certainly true. So the boats, the Ravager, are pretty cool. They have a unique aesthetic. They have rules that let you play them.
They definitely do. It's honestly, it's something to shout out of the fact that it is a very unique aesthetic. It does not just look like another sci-fi vehicle.
Yeah.
The fact that it looks like a pirate ship is crazy cool. But I think we were both pretty in agreement that the Void Raven Bomber should win when we were talking about this before the episode. But we wanted to bring this up not as a slam dunk, to bring it up more again like a lesson with Genestealers on like some factions just are not very Timmy coded.
And the Void Raven Bomber is also still not particularly amazing just because like it's an aircraft and again all the problems, but it's a cool aircraft.
Yeah, I think it's about on par with like the Archaeocopters, like all of its variants.
I think it's cooler.
It's about Timmy on par with it. The fact that it wins Drukhari handily.
Yeah.
And AdMech, it was like third place, and it was like not really up for debate versus the first two places. And AdMech's still not a Timmy faction.
That is kind of shocking of like, yeah, from a not very Timmy faction to what we're seeing in Drukhari, which is even worse on that ranking metric. So yeah, not the greatest showing there. But from there, let's take a look at a Xenos faction that I think has got some pretty good options. Let's move into Orks.
Okay, I was waiting for you to want to do this one.
So we brought it up. We have to talk about the Stompa and why it's not the slam dunk start of the episode. Oh, it's just the Stompa.
I mean, there is a very large chance it's the thumbnail of the episode.
Yeah, I think it's probably still the pick, but there's discussion.
It probably is. I do think that we have to discuss other options though, because I think Orks has some options. This is a less extreme version of Tyranids where it's like Tyranids had monsters, but one was so clearly the winner. Because Orks has the Stompa is the biggest one by a fair margin. The thing is massive physically speaking.
Oh yeah.
But the Stompa is real bad. And it's like, it's so bad it becomes unimpressive.
Yeah, kind of. And like, if you want the big like walker, we have the Gorkanaut or Morkanot, they are noticeably smaller by a big amount.
They're a little smaller than a Questoris Knight.
Yeah.
Like they're just a little shorter, but they are fat boys.
But they are still pretty big. They're intimidating, but like you can still play them. And from a play pattern, the Stompa has all the guns ever. Like you're doing dumb stuff, hopefully, and like that's cool. The Gorkanaut still also has some really cool stuff, particularly shooting like 20 attacks with one of their guns. You're doing some fun things there, but you can still move it around the board and like play the game.
And then we've got two more options. One, obviously, we've been talking about Supreme Commanders. Gaz as a faction leader.
Yeah.
10th edition's not his edition, but historically, he has been an absolute terror.
And like, he's not bad at the current moment.
Yeah, the awkward part is like, balance-wise, he's quite good right now, but he's not very Timmy right now.
Yeah, that is a good way of saying it.
Compared to like, go look up his 9th edition rules.
Oh, he was a menace, and it was fun.
So yeah, Gaz is an option. I don't think it's embarrassing as a pick. I think he's one of the faction leaders. I could see people saying he is the actual Timmiest model, like just in a historical if you have to get dropped at any moment.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. But like we also have the Killer Rig or Hunter Rig, especially if you're interested in like the squig part of Orks, because like there's the different sections. So this model's huge.
It is huge. The pig alone is very large because this thing is on a knight base. This is a very large model.
It has fun rules too.
I think this one gets some points because it does a lot of stuff. Like the Kill Rig has a psyker on it and everything. The thing is flashy.
It is.
I like there's real debate for it, even though it's not like the big dumb knight.
But like I think it might be better than the Morkanot. They're similar to me.
Sure. I get what you're saying of the like this one has more weird stuff that it can and has done.
Yeah.
Whereas the other one is just a knight, more or less.
Right? All of that said, though, it's building up to basically like, yeah, there's a bunch of cool stuff in Orks. There's options that somebody who's a Timmy enjoyer could choose. It's still the Stompa, though.
Yeah. It doesn't matter that it's ass.
Yeah.
Unfettered, terrible 800-point ass.
But it's massive. And like, if you like this aesthetic, even though it's old and kind of shitty, it's still peak. Like, it just is.
I get what you mean.
Right?
It's the ironic peak, like where it comes all the way back around to damn.
And it works because it's Orks and it's like that's the aesthetic and like it all fits perfectly for the person who wants this.
I am with you. Stompa is correct, but it has issues.
Yeah.
Is it the biggest, flashiest thing in the list here? Probably. But the fact that there's debate is also just like a sad note to talk about.
It is kind of sad, but like, I mean, it's also kind of cool of like Orks are cool. They don't have quite as much as Necrons, but they still do have a bunch.
Yeah, but like the Kill Rig is a respectable, it's nowhere near the bigness or the flashiness, but like at certain points, I think it's got more fun stuff it's doing than the Stompa, which is weird.
Yeah.
I think the Stompa is the pick. It's just, it could be fixed up a bit, GW.
I think they understand that if it's ever playable, it will be the most unfun thing ever. Like Catan right now, unfun to play against, sure. The Stompa being good, just don't play. Nobody is going to want that.
The Stompa gets very close to Titans, where it's like, this cannot be playable.
Yeah.
This must always be bad. If this was ever playable, no one would ever have fun until it was not playable again.
It's weird that like part of that is why it works so well as a Timmy flashy model. It's a negative, but it's also a positive. So the Stompa's just in a weird fucking spot, but it's great. Do we want to hit Space Marines? I know you've been pushing it further and further. Fuck Space Marines. Well, I hate Space Marines, but
look, we got a rebound from doing an ad read last week. Well, 2 weeks ago in everyone else's timeline. There was a data slate yesterday, you see?
Yeah.
So Space Marines. I think there's some really good picks here. I think Space Marines, for me, the thing here is none of them are the Necrons, slam dunk, 10 out of 10. Ooh, I can't believe I have all of these options. But Space Marines has so many respectable picks.
Yeah.
Not 10 out of 10s, but like a bunch of 8 out of 10s. And like a deep pool because they have way too many options.
They really do.
We're not even getting into like, let's do a Space Wolf exclusive one. Let's do
I was just gonna say, we're not actually going into like all the sub kind of actions there, because each of those have, you know, their own like options and like, oh, this is your leader, and like, yeah, there's things going on there. But like general Space Marines, we've got the Dreadnoughts.
The Dreadnoughts is like your default thought when it comes to Timmy Space Marine unit. In my head, it's like exactly what you're thinking of, but we have other very strong options here. One of them is the Primarchs. I mean, we've got Lion and Gilliman. They're not as flashy as Demon Primarchs, so they don't get the auto win.
But I think like as much as for you, the auto thought was the Dreadnoughts, I think there's a lot of people that the auto thought was the Primarchs.
And that's fair. From an actual gameplay standpoint, they're usually stronger than Dreadnoughts.
I mean, they kind of should be, but whether they are or not.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about certain parts of 10th edition and a certain Lion, but usually they're stronger than Dreadnoughts.
So those definitely an option. And I mean, then we also have just like the tanks. Nothing's Baneblade, but like the Repulsor is pretty good.
Yeah, specifically the Repulsor Executioner, the one with an inelegant number of guns. There are good options throughout Space Marines. There's going to be some people who say, I don't want to count the Primarchs because my chapter doesn't have Lion. My personal chapter doesn't have Gilliman. That's a fair call, and I get that, and it's probably points off.
I think that is points off, and like if it wasn't for that, I feel like either of them would have been honestly the slam dunk.
Yeah, I think the idea of Primarchs in general is you just pick Primarchs.
Yeah.
Like whether it be Lion or Gilliman, Primarchs is your pick.
But like that is a knock against them as like, yeah, you can't actually play them in all of Space Marines, and like because we're not going individual, I don't know about the Repulsor Executioner, man.
It's Timmy as shit. Have you read this data sheet? It does suffer from a look standpoint like the Land Raider of it's just a box with some guns.
It does have a shitload of guns.
It's got a shitload of guns. It's a lot of guns.
I also have to keep remembering, like, don't compare it to the Baneblade. Don't compare it to the Baneblade. Don't compare it to the Baneblade kind of thing of, like, that's not a fair comparison.
If you compare it to the Rogel Dorn, I think it still comes out on top gun count-wise. And the Rogel Dorn takes, like, 20 minutes to shoot.
Kind of does, yeah. It is pretty good.
It's a really good pick. I think for me, though, out of all the options, it has to be the Dreads. In my head, Timmy, Space Marine, like, I know this is part my brain damage. I love vehicle Space Marines. I don't enjoy Space Marines proper that much. I played a lot of Space Wolves Dreadnought spam early this edition to play some Space Marine games and have some fun. I collect like I am an Iron Hands player, even though I'm painting them as Alpha Legion, but like I have a lot of vehicles. I have multiple Repulsor Executioners. I have multiple Gladiators. I have 9 Dreadnoughts. I have a lot of Dreadnoughts.
Too many, essentially.
I love all of these. I think for me, the idea of a Dreadnought, be it Redemptor, Brutalis, probably not Ballistus, but Redemptor or Brutalis, they're, to me, Timmy as a Space Marine player personified. From a lore standpoint of Timmy player, of the big dumb...
The stompy robot.
The air horn, not even in death.
Just the stompy killy robot.
Yeah, everything about it for me is why I think it's the pick. Again, if you pick Primarchs, absolutely correct. If you pick the Repulsor Executioner, absolutely correct. But I'm going to go with the Dreadnought for a personal pick for Timmiest thing.
I think we can go with the Dreadnought. I would probably pick the Primarchs, but they have that like little caveat, so I'm fine with going to the Dreadnought.
I think specifically going with, because when we're talking about Chaos and we're talking about the God Legions, where they have their Demon Primarch, that like lore-wise is their father. But then you get to Space Marines and you've got your own custom chapter and you're like, technically, my guys are sons of Gilliman, and I have a Gilliman just in my collection, but he is an Ultramarine.
Yeah.
My sub-chapter is not an Ultramarine, we're an Ultramarine successor, and those are my guys that I wrote all my lore for, and there's that aspect that gets into Vorthos stuff, but because that's how Space Marines is at a meta level here,
right?
I think Primarchs fall off on, like, they get a lot of points knocked off them.
It's just extra baggage, essentially. So yeah, I'm good with going with the Dreadnought. Yeah, it's fun.
They're so fun. They are fun personified. Play 8 Dreadnoughts. Do it. You will feel better. Your week will improve.
It's very possible. All right, let's take a look at World Eaters then.
All right, so World Eaters, for those who were like, you did CSM and you didn't talk about the Khorne Lord of Skulls. I said no borrowing. And while it was originally a CSM model, we all know it's really a World Eaters model.
I mean, yeah.
So this is why Angron did not get a slam dunk, and I don't know if he wins.
It's tough. Angron's awesome.
Angron is cool as shit. If you're not on Morty being the coolest of the Demon Primarchs model-wise, Angron might be it.
Yeah, it's definitely a strong showing no matter what here. And like Angron has some pretty cool rules. It absolutely does what you expect. But like, have you seen Corn Lord Skulls? That thing's ridiculous in so many ways.
It's ridiculous in multiple ways, yes. Just from a model aspect is ridiculous. And then like, it's still a huge, we're talking like, the thing is like 500 freaking points.
It's got fun guns too.
It's got strength 14, strength 16 all over the damn place.
I think 1 or 2 of the guns are 2d6 attacks. I love that. And honestly, that's kind of a Timmy thing, having randomness going on. Because like, if you roll 2 6s, oh, that's good.
Yeah, I think I am okay with it just being the Corn Lord of Skulls, but like it feels wrong to ever say it's a slam dunk against Angron, who is Angron. Like the man deserves respect.
It's a tough one because like I want to choose Corn Lord of Skulls, but partially just because I don't want to auto to the Demon Primarchs.
I just think it's correct. It's bigger and splashier. Like it is the things you're looking for. It even has more variance on the experience if you're bringing up like the 2d6, which is a aspect of Timmy.
All right.
The Corn Lord of Skulls just is real good. Not actually good, but real good for Timmy.
Oh, no, it's like a lot of points. I don't think we're quite at Stompa level, but like...
No, it's only like 500 points.
It's still a ridiculous amount of points for what is happening here. But I think it might be the right pick. Like, Angron is an amazing Timmy model.
Yes. Look, you're eating good if you're Timmy and World Eaters. You are the target audience. You figured it out. Rules-wise, not quite correct. Kind of a cultist spam army at times, but from a flavor aspect, you figured it out.
Hopefully we get more models and World Eaters can figure out more of these cool models here. But yeah, there's some great options. But Corn Lord Skulls, pretty good. What do you want to hit next?
Let's wrap up the Imperium with Sisters.
All right. So Sisters is not what I would expect for like the most Timmy.
No, but it's like AdMech, it's respectable.
Yeah, it has some really cool models, and there are also some models that have like really fun play as well. Just starting off, the Exorcist.
It's a pipe organ missile launcher. What do you want? It's crazy.
Yeah, just aesthetically, it's so over the top.
Yep. It is in the list.
Yeah, and then Saint Celestine.
Who I'm going to argue is my front runner, but I really do respect all of the options here. Like, this is a tough one. But yes, so Celestine, and then we've got the Triumph of St. Catherine, which I think a lot of people are going to say is theirs. This is a whole feast on a single base.
Yeah, an entire diorama story going on.
Rules-wise, it's all over the place, does all sorts of stuff, depending when we are in history, but solid pick. And then we've got your Supreme Commander, Morgan Val. She is no slouch. From a gameplay perspective, especially earlier iteration of her, there is some insane versions of her.
Showing off like the Paragon Warsuit, the Walker kind of thing is a fun aesthetic.
Especially when Sisters tend to be smaller scale models, this helps upscale them to be like, not quite Dread size, but like Dreadnoughty size.
Yeah, honestly, good options.
Yeah, for me though, just for the immortal aspect, I think Celestine wins.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like just from the fact that gets Timmy going.
There's a certain story element as you're playing that like it is cool.
A big part is actually it's not guaranteed to get back up type stuff.
Yeah, because I think usually it's like on a 1 you fail kind of thing, but like it's pretty common. You can kind of expect it, but like you can also not.
Yeah, and again, Timmy appreciates that. The not guaranteed, the experience, oh god, I have to make this roll.
Yeah, because like that randomness adds to the experience, the story, though, like it happened. Or on the other side, it's not always about just winning. It's, oh, it didn't happen. Can you believe that? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's sharing the moment with someone.
So yeah, definitely Saint Celestine is pretty strong because of that. And like the model's really cool. Love, absolutely gorgeous.
Again, it is respectable. I think Morgan Val is probably more impressive from a impact when fighting standpoint. But
Triumph is probably on the weaker end, even though it's an entire diorama. know, like there's so much going on that you can look at, and like they do have interesting rules, but less splashy like that and more like, I don't know, kind of like buff oriented, like bard style rules.
Yep, very much Bard style, very much, again, like Silent King, like with talking about Call again. I think, to me, Triumph loses to Vol, and to me, between Vol and Celestine, I'm going with Celestine as more Timmy. I get if you just care about combat, Vol, bigger booms.
Yeah, but like not that much kind of thing.
No, not currently at least.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there was always like,
There's always rules changes. We're trying to like only look at rules as like a how do they tend to be rather than current rules. This technically right now is strength 8.
yeah, Vols also had some interesting combos that you could do and like whatever. I guess Celestine's also had some stuff, but I feel like the Exorcist is probably on the weaker end, as cool as it is.
Yeah, but it's not a terrible pick.
No.
Like if all the others were gone, the Exorcist would still be a very comfortable pick we wouldn't complain about.
Right. For sisters, I think Celestine fits the like theme and like it aesthetically is very cool. Gameplay, it has good rules, some splashy ideas. I think it does everything a little bit better.
And to give the Exorcist one last point here, all 3 of our other options are epic heroes.
True.
We're talking named characters as opposed to a generic tank you can run 3 of.
Yeah.
So the Exorcist gets points there. I can get people who think the Exorcist because, like, with me with the dread of like go play 8 dreads.
That's true.
I get people who will pick the Exorcist out of all of this.
Yeah, I understand it. It's a unique aesthetic, but I think it's still Celestine.
And when we're talking Timmy models, the one that's right for you is the winner.
True.
We're talking about our winners, but like they're all winners, Chief. They're all good dogs, Braun.
Same thing with like when we were talking Necrons. Everybody can have their own choices. It would be fascinating to hear what listeners have as their choice for some of this stuff. But I think we've got one more Xenos and then Chaos Demons. So let's talk Tau.
Okay, so Tau, a lot of people are wondering why we didn't just slam dunk Storm Surge.
That is a front runner, but
To be fair, it is my pick.
there's a bit of decisions to talk about.
Yes. However, I agreed with Eric on it is discussion worthy. So the Storm Surge is obviously, look at it. If you're Timmy and a gun nut, this is it, Chief. How many rockets? Yes. And a giant rail cannon, you say. Though technically it's not a rail gun. Just rules-wise talking here. We actually checked even 9th edition. Because I misremembered it as a railgun in 9th and it was not.
It looks railgun-ish and has enough guns that it feels like a railgun's being fired. So, understandable.
But we've got 2 other things here. Speaking of the railguns, the Hammerhead gets here because it does have a proper railgun. And some people will remember the 9th edition railgun.
And like, it's cool. Railguns are cool, okay?
And they are splashy.
And like the Hammerhead is a railgun on like a cool kind of unique tank kind of like thing, but like it's a railgun. That's awesome. That's why it's discussion worthy.
And for a last one here, we have the Riptide. So the Riptide is physically smaller and has less guns than the Storm Surge.
Yes.
But it's more of a Gundam.
It's more playable.
It's not just the playable aspect. It's the Timmy wants Gundam.
Yeah.
It's not always just the guns. There's a reason the Repulsor Executioner lost to the Redemptor Dread. Gun count is not everything when it comes to how splashy and enjoyable it is. I do, for what it's worth, still think the Storm Surge wins, but the argument of the Riptide is there.
Yeah. I feel like the Riptide doesn't have the most like unique rules or whatever. It's generally just like, this is a Gundam. It's got a bunch of cool weapon options.
Here is the Gundam we historically give the best rules to out of the Gundam lineup.
Yeah, but it's all just like, this is the Gundam. It does the thing. And like, that's great. It is cool. And if you want Gundam, this is your most exciting one. But the Storm Surge is the splashiest.
Overall, yes, but the lack of railgun is why I was like, all right, we definitely cannot slam dunk it. Because when you showed me that I was wrong about it in 9th edition, I just completely misremembered that the Hammerhead was the one that had the railgun and only it. I thought the Storm Surge was just unplayable but had one.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of very strong and like fun guns, but the railgun was a special.
Yeah, talking about the railgun for 9th edition, for those who don't know what it was. Each time an attack is made with this weapon. Invulnerable saving throws cannot be made against that attack, and it had AP -6. Each time a successful wound roll is made for an attack with this weapon, the target suffers 3 mortal wounds in addition to any damage. It was a delete key.
It was so cool.
The thing on average, if you hit something with it, would take off like 10 wounds.
Yeah, I mean, like, currently, the Railgun is still pretty scary. Like, it's strength 20, dev wounds, does like 6 plus d6 damage or something like that. Bunch of AP.
It's technically about the same damage as the old Railgun.
Yeah.
But we don't have the no invulns for you rule, which was very, very splashy.
That no invuln stuff has the, like, oh, kind of Timmy neurons activated kind of thing. And so, yeah, the Railgun was a special time, but the Storm Surge is just, it's kind of just splashiest.
It's a step below the Baneblade for me, but very much the same deal.
Generally unplayable, but that's okay.
A step below the Baneblade.
Yep.
Generally unplayable.
All right, we've kind of left Demons for last for a reason.
The Timmiest faction in the game may be Knights, but I have an argument for Demons being it. So Timmy is not just interested about the largest model. They want to do big things in any way. This is why Hordes are also Timmy. Guard players who play a billion guard is Timmy too.
It's just a little weird to talk about in the way we're presenting this topic.
It is, because we're talking about single model. This was Timmiest model, not Timmiest thing you can do in a faction. Even if we expand it to Timmiest unit, there's the problem of Hordes aren't really a thing in 10th edition. Historically, they have been a thing. Like, you used to be able to run demons in 30s.
I mean, Silvertide was a thing.
There are several armies where you can make Timmy arguments when we get to units and go historically. But in that aspect, I think demons being both the, you either play a horde of nobodies or you play the biggest, coolest monsters is like a real good argument for it being like the ultimate Timmy.
Yeah. And because there's 4 different sections.
Sort of 5 because there's Undivided, though it's basically Be'lakor at this point.
Yeah, I was like, it's only technically. But because of that, there's like large aesthetic differences between those options of like the big splashy things. So it's not just like direct comparison can kind of be tough. Like in World Eaters, we had Cornlurr Skulls and Engron. They are different, but there's a theme that's all the same. Demons is 4 themes, 5 technically, that are all wrapped up together.
4 themes and Be'lakor.
Yeah. So there's a lot to choose.
Yes. And again, we could argue that this will age poorly and demons may not exist next edition and it may be cut up into the different factions. I am somewhat of a proponent of this if it is done right and not like 10th edition.
Yeah.
Do it like AOS. Give me Codex Khorne. Give me Codex Tzeentch. But as it stands right now, demons is a single faction with an index. And we've got a lot of models to choose from here. So we have Be'lakor as our named demon prince, the first prince, yada yada, guy with terrible lore.
Wow.
Him and Vashdor fought over the one scrap of lore that was written between either of them.
Awesome looking model.
Fantastic model. Everything in this list is a fantastic model. Then we go Slaanesh. We've got Shalaxi and the Keeper of Secrets. To me, this is the least Timmy of the bunch, but if we're going with Slaanesh, it's the most Timmy.
Yeah, I'm with that. It's not quite on the same tiers, but like it is still quite impressive.
Slaanesh in general leans more towards the techiness, the finesse, which again always leans away from Timmy.
Yeah. For Nurgle, we've got Rodigus or the Great Unclean One.
Both fantastic options. You don't get much bigger than that.
In every dimension.
In every sense.
Very spherical.
Great butt crack. Then we've got the Bloodthirster and Scarbrand. Honestly, if we had to put them with World Eaters, they're still up there, but like Khorne eats good when it comes to Timmy models.
Yeah, kind of, honestly.
We could argue that Khorne as a concept is Timmy.
Yeah.
Khorne's name was Timmy. Secret lore.
Yeah, I think I did actually read that book. But yeah, the Bloodthirster, Scarbrand, pretty good. And rounding it out, Kairos, Lord of Change for Tzeentch. The chickens have a unique aesthetic that goes hard.
It does, and from a magic castery standpoint, like from that aspect, also very Timmy.
It has a little bit more of the combo, generally from rules type stuff, but that's like,
yes.
Tzeentch does that.
But dropping a magical atom bomb, throwing the fireball is still Timmy. Throwing the fireball into the crowded room. Like, even though it's a wizard, that's still Timmy.
Yeah. So yeah, dude, I don't know.
Yeah, that's like the reason we're ending on Chaos Demons here is, do you choose? Is the answer yes? It's all of them because they all represent different aspects of chaos. Do they exist as a single faction in 6 months? Who knows?
At least for Necrons, it was one of those like, yeah, this is difficult. There's a lot of options, but like it's all Necrons. We can choose one. And if the one you chose isn't it, then like, okay, you choose your second or third and like it's still happy. But like Chaos Demons, the Guo is exceptionally different from Scarbrand. Like aesthetically, those don't work.
And at the same time, they're closer than some other comparisons.
Yeah, it's so tough to like choose between them because they are like, these are the 5.
This is a great way to show off the variety you can have while being a Timmy.
Yeah.
Flavor-wise, all over the place. The ways they represent Timmy changes. And they are all still appealing to that part of you. The part of you that loves experience. The part of you that wants the story. The part of you that cannot wait to tell your friends about the fun game you played last weekend.
Which honestly, from like a lore aspect, having the chaos demons, the chaos gods showing off like the exceptional experiences kind of thing, that goes pretty well. I can't really choose.
I refuse to choose as a huge fan of demons in general.
Might be Bellicor if I had to choose, but
I refuse to choose.
I think that's fair.
Like, we all know that the Lord of Change is technically like one of my all-time favorite models.
Yeah.
Legitimately, doesn't matter what faction we're talking about, favorite models. Something about the gigantic bird wizard is crazy. I still refuse to choose one of these over the others when we're talking about what's Timmiest.
Yeah, because it's just like individually, these all work, but for different people.
That's the beauty of it, man. All right, we have found every faction's Timmiest models. I believe that does it for us this week. Please don't be shy. If you have ones that you think we missed, share them. I love reading comments on episodes like this. These are my absolute favorites to do that with.
Definitely. And, just the normal YouTube pleasantries and thanking Berylio for us actually getting around to doing this eventually.
Yes, he pushed for this for like actually a year. So if you enjoyed this episode, thank the man.
Don't forget, you can support us by buying merch, Poorhammer.com or Patreon.
Speaking of our patrons, we need to thank them for keeping the lights on around here. We have a bunch of them we shout out every month for supporting us so much. They are a pre-cooked Woolies choke. What?
A Dachshund.
Adrian Franca.
Alice Jeans.
Alan Dunn.
Amdragon.
Amists.
Andreas.
Angry Zellers.
Are bald men predisposed to chaos corruption?
I shaved my head and then did an ad read, so yes. Ave Dominus Nuts.
Bedlam's Nemesis.
Bella Admire.
Biggs the Purple Necron.
Black Mist Gorgon.
Blubbles 180.
Bob Loblaws. Bob Loblaws Loblog.
Fuck you.
I'm not usually a tongue twister guy, but I like that one.
Bob Mayers.
Bob Kerr.
Brad said my name was too long.
You were right. Brad's getting fit. Now he takes my lunch money.
Brandon White.
BRB got to snaz my wagon.
Can you dig it?
Canuck, eh?
Carnivac.
Chad the Frog.
Chapter Master Valtrex.
Christopher Gargliano.
Christopher S. Dawson.
Chromavale.
Commander Cicada.
Connor King.
Craig Judge.
Crazy Shack 48.
Daniel Field 5150.
Director Jeff.
Dominic Colseco.
Dragon 3543.
Edward Lawrence.
Ereve.
Ethan Flores.
Eve the Thief.
Fabius Bile and the amazing human skin dreamcoat.
Featherbeard.
Fiona thinks a storm tiger in a rice hat is cute.
Frosty Hobbies.
Fire Slayer rebrand incoming. New joke to follow.
Gathering Clouds.
Gear Overlord.
G-Dubs, please update agents. Michelle.
Geet.
Gilgamesh and Enkidu is my favorite love story.
Glossy.
Gutsy Hyena.
Hemrock.
Heretic Talks.
Hey look, Marathi and Lilith are playing footsie with each other.
Hey look, it's Carter.
Hyena Beans is not a space wolf. They play Skaven.
Hypnotic Spectre.
I hope Brad reads this. Delete as appropriate.
Elindi.
Isaac Hall.
Istvan Wolf.
Jarrett DePerna.
Justin Udacek. Get fucked, idiot.
I'm just gonna Kiani Biani Yani.
Kozak.
Kozak, but with sunglasses on.
Lucas.
Lord of Change.
Matthew Tsushima.
Mech Lord of the Bad Dragon Clan.
Michael Melcher.
Midwestern Chaos Cultist, Corn for the Corn God.
Miracle Dice did nothing wrong.
Mr. Diesel.
Mitchell.
Mixolodius.
Burnt toast.
Morpheal 55.
My oppressor cannon used blast to +4 shots.
Nate Brown.
Not Gaffy.
Not EE.
Omega Shark.
Pacific Rim 3, The Return of Christ.
Paying Poorhammer to finally hear I love you.
Pierce forgot about changing their name as a bit for a while.
Plario Jop was here.
Oh. I was like, what the fuck? Oh. That's good. That's funny. Proteus 7331.
Queelan.
Rain Pletcher.
Reigns 13.
Retheus Khan.
Ringwraith.
Rock.
Rogue Trader Jake.
Ross Warlock.
Roth.
Remora.
Rodgrog Med Flawed.
Saf Jep. It's German. Deal with it.
Sriracha Sauce.
Say you're decorating your room.
Scott Gallmeyer.
Scott the Irish.
Scuba Steve supports shameless shilling supporting superior showmanship. I did that in one go.
That was good. I'm glad you got the tongue twister so far. Shadow, who is sorry he was making his names too long.
Shane the Wizard.
Shaxus Bad Otter.
Sister Leviathan of the Sororitas.
Smarty Boy.
Solanite.
That guy's been snazzing his wagon for a while now. Is he okay?
The Mailman.
The Solar Sect of Mystic Wisdom.
The Crusader 13.
The Fish Guy.
The Uladroth.
Thrango.
Tom McGarth.
Uwaluna.
Vati the Picori.
Vangriff.
Woodstock.
Yoo-Hoo Fanatic.
Why So Mad 2.
Zach Wade.
Zebru.
And Zimbabwe.
And in addition to that long list of amazing people, we have producers we thank every week because they are amazing. They are a speedy freak.
Atherian, cult leader by accident.
Ava Tech Adept.
Batrid Kurz, not in any way related to Conrad Kurz. Please don't sue me, GW.
Breaking news, 500 Custodian Guard.
C5 Dynamite.
Certified Pegstar.
Charles Lang.
Corvus.
Demolition Man.
Gilgamesh Versus.
Grant Yoss.
Gutrot's Unnatural Tentacle.
Halo Gamer 2005.
Holy shit, I thought the Baneblade wasn't going to be finished. You and me both.
Huge Axeman.
Yon Geisy.
Kiwi Fruitbird.
Le Bloop Bloop.
Loaf of Disappointment.
Me When I.
My Will to Live is leaving me.
Same. NJ Harlan.
Old World Smasher Pass When.
Pizza 00100.
Warhammer's slightly disturbing obsession with horses.
Robohap.
Sam Brown.
Scott the Jim Crab, Mr. Festastic.
That Mighty.
The fucking God Emperor of Mankind.
The Terrible Toledo Tickler.
Victorian Batman.
And War Game Simulator. Thank you so much for supporting the show.
And if you would like to join them and great patrons like a suspicious looking guy, then you can join us on Patreon at patreon.com/SullySingleton, please. But with that, we are out of here for this week.
Sounds good.